Today is Saturday, April the 14th, 2018. Hello, and welcome to Weekly Astrology Notes for the week of April 15th through the 22nd, 2018. Highlights for this week. Well, we start this week with a whole lot of planets in Aries, as you can see here, and Mercury going direct, and the new moon in Aries. So it's a great start of the week as we're ready to move forward and start new projects on Sunday. On Monday, the moon enters Taurus, and we're more focused on the sensual side of life, especially Monday evening with Venus opposition Jupiter and Venus trine Pluto happening early Tuesday morning. So they're very close together, only about 6 or 7 hours apart. Late Monday night on the Venus opposition Jupiter and early Tuesday morning the Venus trine Pluto. So with those two aspects to Venus so close together, you really need to share yourself and your personal values with others because it's in Taurus. A very important set of aspects for Venus as I see it. It's a healthy exchange of energy between you and others is essential now, so that you can express your values and find your worth to others. So it's an important day for basically loving yourself enough so that you can share yourself with the rest of the world. It's just sort of an important moment when we kind of need to do that because we're finding our value, our personal values are more important to us now. So you are valuable to others, and that really needs to be shared on Monday evening, or Monday to Tuesday. And actually, this will be starting this weekend as well, so you'll probably feel the energy coming in already. As well, these two aspects are great for material enterprises because it's Venus and Taurus, as well as for social gatherings. So that's a couple of really nice aspects we're having for Venus at the start of the week. And Saturn goes retrograde on Tuesday, and I'll go over the details for that. On Wednesday, Moon enters Gemini, keeping us mentally active for the next couple of days, especially with the Sun conjunct Uranus, oddly in Aries, on Wednesday morning. So Wednesday is a day of surprises, unusual events, a different day from the norm. It also has some geopolitical implications for the USA, which I'll go over at the end of the video. On Thursday, the Sun enters Taurus. Then as we move into the weekend, things kind of slow down a bit. On Friday, Moon enters Cancer, and we're more sensitive and emotional, especially with the oppositions to these planets in Capricorn. Things are kind of tough for the Moon in Cancer these days. On Sunday, Earth Day, Moon in Leo brings the first quarter moon, and Pluto goes retrograde. So that makes 3 outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, retrograde, and I have some insights on that to share with you as well. Okay, so let's get started with Sunday, April the 15th. We'll start with the Mercury retrograde, Mercury going direct at 4 degrees 47 minutes of Aries. You'll see here. Okay, so until May 3rd, we are still going to be in the shadow degrees that Mercury visited before going down to the retrograde, and that'll be up to 16 degrees 54. So there has been a lot of rethinking and revising our opinions since March the 22nd, when it started going retrograde. Okay, so the house where this retrograde occurred for you underwent a lot of extra mental activity, which was all focused on completing tasks that needed to be finished before going any further. It's been a rush to correct your mistakes and complete projects. Now that direct motion is here, we can go forward with our plans, and it'll continue direct until July the 25th, when it'll reach 23 degrees of Leo. Okay, so for the moon aspects on Sunday, we've got the moon square Pluto happening around mid-morning, and my best advice with the moon square Plutos is just avoid getting caught up in other people's drama and power games during these aspects. It's easy to get swept up in other people's karma and their emotions and their drama, so it's just important to kind of pull away and you might need to isolate yourself, but the energy really is best for your own personal regeneration. And then in the early evening, we've got the new moon, and I've got another one for that. So the new moon, you'll see here, it'll be at 26 degrees, 2 minutes of Aries, with a close conjunction to Uranus. You'll see there at 28 degrees of Aries. So this new moon is all about change and new beginnings, because it's in Aries, so that's really about new beginnings, but also Uranus brings that need for change. So this month, we don't let anyone tell us that we can't do it. You know, we break out of our rigid structure. Uranus is in many ways the opposite of Saturn, which is very rigid. Uranus asks us to break free and let go of our rigid ways. So we don't let anyone else tell us we can't do it. We're strong and ambitious, independent and intelligent, and we have a greater awareness of the group's needs. And some of us may even get a chance to take on a leadership role in the group, or maybe just break out of your old patterns and lead yourself to better circumstances. It's very positive, energetic, and dynamic start of spring that is sure to bring some surprises this month. You know, you never know what to expect with Uranus in the mix. For certain, this is a great month to start new projects, or just get yourself out there in the world. Don't be afraid to let the unique side of yourself shine. At the end of the Uranus and Aries era, it's been going on for 7 years now, we really feel a strong urge to take a step forward in our evolutionary process. So check your concurrent transits, see which house this is happening in for you. It's very important. It's one of the most useful tasks you can do for yourself each month, is locate where the new moon is going to be in your chart, which house, and focus your energy in activities related to that house this month. There, you're ready to make a surprising and dynamic new beginning, and projects started at this time carry your unique qualities and sure to bring you lasting value. Like I mentioned last week, you know, we always talk about the success each month that comes with following the synchronicity of the moon, and it all starts with the new moon, where you kind of lay that foundation. So that's why you really want to check the house placement for the new moon for yourself. Okay, and then a void, of course, begins and lasts until early Monday morning, when the moon enters Taurus. So we're more steadfast on Monday and Tuesday, like the bull, more placid, and desire to be around our personal possessions, want to feel comfortable. The sensual Taurus energy needs to be in nature to feel grounded and protected. It's a wonderful ride through Taurus for the moon these days, because we get all these wonderful trines to Capricorn, the opposition to Jupiter, the sextile to Neptune. They're all very nice aspects for the moon while it's in Taurus, where it's exalted. So that's really great. Good energy to feel grounded and connected to nature. And then in the afternoon, we've got the moon trine Saturn. That'll keep us pretty grounded. All that earth energy on the moon. So with all that earth energy, I think we're really looking to focus on material enterprises. And Chiron enters Aries today. So you'll see that Chiron starts to enter Aries there. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to read up on it, so I'll include a nice article that gives us some information about Chiron, and a nice lesson we can use to kind of brush up on our understanding of that. And then we're going to move into the aspect right about 1 minute before midnight. You'll see there, 11:59 p.m. Venus opposition Jupiter, and that'll be about 21 degrees of Taurus to 21 degrees of Scorpio. So sensual Venus in Taurus wants to explore, has big ideas, likely about material things, love of pleasure and beautiful things, not interested in work, expressive, looking for opportunities to grow, desire for money, a relationship, desire to be published or to increase your status in the group, may be confronted by conflicts to your personal values. It's because it's an opposition, and oppositions often bring conflict. But because it's Venus and Jupiter, they're so pleasant in getting along together, you don't really get much of that. You may have to make a judgment call based on competing values. Aspect tends to cause you to let down your guard, which can be good, but be careful of being persuaded by someone with hidden intentions, or you may try to persuade someone else, because it's in Scorpio, which brings up a lot of sexual and even erotic desires. With this aspect and the next, which is the Venus trine Pluto, brings even more Scorpio energy in there, could make it for a very sexual and erotic Monday evening. You want to receive, or maybe even expect to receive, the help and kindness of others, and excessive willingness to help others as well. But even then, there is always something in it for you. Basically, there is a deep need to exchange valuable energy with another person. So if you can do that, if you can't do that, then you feel poor, because all of this has to do with our personal values and our personal possessions. And it brings up that kind of energy. So you feel like you're poor if you can't really share yourself with others. So depending on your basic temperament, you may need to let down your guard a bit. So you can do that. This Venus opposition Jupiter, I think, helps do that. You need to put yourself in a place where you can be, where you can have a valuable exchange with another person. It could be sex or money, because those are things that we collectively value. But really, you want to do something that's an expression of your personal values. Okay, an exchange of your ideas and perceptions. We're prone to extravagance, exuberant behavior, and poor judgment. It's a good time for business, though. People are interested in luxury purchases, impulse buys, desire for material things to help fill any void in your life. It's a bit idealistic because it's Jupiter, as well as optimistic, but with high expectations. This energy is positively expressed through artistic endeavors or material enterprises, or anything that enables you to share what you value, your personal values, Venus and Taurus, with others, with the rest of humanity. Okay, so let's move along to Tuesday. We've got the Moon sextile Neptune early in the morning. Feeling relaxed and dreamy on Tuesday morning. You may want to try to recall your dreams. And then we're going to be having the Venus trine Pluto also early in the morning. And that'll be 21 degrees of Taurus to 21 degrees of Capricorn. Again, Venus is feeling some passionate erotic desire, but as well as the desire for money. This aspect gives you good financial judgment, able to acquire resources for the things you love. That's a lot of that has to do with the trine from Taurus to Capricorn. Okay, so if we're looking for opportunities for career advancement, good business skills, and show dedication to your work, excellent negotiating skills, stand up for your values and not back down, able to work hard and see a job through to the finish. That's that Pluto energy. It's got a lot of stamina. Working together with the previous aspect, I see this primarily as a need to exchange something of value with others. I keep repeating that. It's just a very strong sense that I have. Venus and Taurus is our desire to be stroked, and Pluto and Scorpio, which is where these aspects are coming from, like to do the stroking. We need to exchange energy with others more than usual in these times, because we feel this imperative to express our personal values, which take center stage in life during this time. Now, what you value is very important today, and you're not willing to compromise. Inability to share yourself with others is just not acceptable to you at this time. You cannot close yourself off from others at this time, because we all need to share with one another in order to regenerate and avoid stagnation in life. And that's really important, because the Pluto and Scorpio energy gives us that ability to regenerate. So when you do express this Venus and Taurus, which is all of your personal values, with the rest of humanity, in return you get a lot of this Scorpio energy, which gives you the ability to regenerate and avoid stagnation. very positive set of aspects for Venus as I see it. And when they come along, you truly need to let down your barriers so that you can let that communal Pluto energy flow into your life. This exchange of energy takes place on a personal level, such as coupling, but also on a community level, such as being part of a group or using your money to help transform society for the better. I could see someone doing that, expressing their values for the benefit of others, and in return they get a lot of regenerative value. But whatever it is you do, for sure you need to do that so that you can be part of the community. It's a great set of aspects for teaching, sharing, and leading others to better circumstances. And of course, I didn't write this down, but these are all really great for relationships, in all one-to-one contacts, partnerships, and even like business partnerships as well. So a lot of that kind of stuff could form over this set of aspects because it's in all this earth energy, so we're looking for success as well. Just a wonderful set of aspects. I don't want anybody to miss them. And to help out, Moon in Taurus is giving us some really great aspects to go along with it. We've got the trine to Mars in the morning. Fits well with the previous one very well. More physical energy in the morning, feeling stable and in good health. The Moon opposition Jupiter in the early afternoon. Emotions expand. We feel like being in a crowd. As well, the Moon trine Pluto. Feelings and emotions are very deep. Need personal contact with others. And again, exchange of values, exchange of energy for you and others. And then the Moon conjunct Venus in the afternoon as well. Feeling warm and friendly. Feel like pouring on the charm. Good time for social gatherings. And then a void, of course, begins and continues until the next morning. During that time, Saturn is going to be going retrograde. You'll see her at 9 degrees, 9 minutes of Capricorn. So it'll be going down all the way to 2 degrees, 33 minutes on September the 6th. So the restructuring that Saturn normally does while moving direct turns inward. Now, internal restructuring takes place. We're all working through our karma, rethinking our obligations in life and how that relates to what we need to learn as souls in this life. So there's a lot of coming to terms with the limitations imposed upon you and how you have created those circumstances yourself. Use this time to understand why you have not achieved the success you desired, how that relates to your own internal lack of responsibility for yourself. It's all Saturn, so I know it seems really hard. Best advice is to be very patient with yourself and others during this time. I really strongly emphasize that. Be patient. Coming to terms with your karma requires modesty and sincerity. I've got a couple of really good links to share with you. I think they're really good. This one, Astrology King, I point this one out a lot. He's got some really good insight, as well as this other one, Lynn Coiner, Astrology Research. She's got some good insight as well, so I'll leave links for those. And you can check up on that for yourself. Just like I said, he mentions that there's this Mercury square happening. It's the only aspect to Saturn at the time that it goes retrograde, and how that indicates the need to show temperance with others. Once again, it kind of fits in with my advice for being very patient with yourself and others during this time. Okay, moving along to Wednesday, April the 18th. The void, of course, ends with the Moon entering Gemini early in the morning, so we're more mentally active over the next couple of days. The Moon is in its death cycle in Gemini, where it needs to catch up on missed connections. Communication is colored by emotional needs, as we are more likely to blurt out things that reflect our passing emotions. And then we've got the aspect Sun conjunct Uranus, which you see will be at 28 degrees of Aries. So this will be in the morning. And the sun represents our creative energy, and Uranus represents dynamic change, rebelliousness, revolution, breaking out of stagnant patterns, and really in evolving as well. So today we're restless and ambitious, trying to let part of ourselves break free from our typical patterns of behavior. Uranus represents our process of evolution. It enables us to rise above or see beyond the proverbial box we live in and see things in a whole new way. So this aspect gives us the energy to create something new for yourself. Move on to a better situation. So today we act more Aquarian because Uranus rules Aquarian. So we're more free, independent, more enlightened, really not interested in mundane affairs or work as much, not as held back as usual by our inhibitions or irrational fears. We're not so rigid. Rather, we're looking to evolve. So look for some surprises today. On the negative side, it is an Aries, and people can be rather headstrong or reactionary, not in the mood for balance, because Uranus is very, independent, and with all of this independent energy in Aries, that's the opposite of Libra, so it kind of lacks balance, and really we don't want to listen to others. So it's not a good day to settle disputes in most cases. Too much energy for change in the air. It's also not a good day to make agreements. You never know. You're changing your mind a lot. It's just too much desire to break free. You're not really in touch with your long-term needs. Today you really just want to try something new. Initiate a change in your life. With Jupiter and Saturn currently retrograde, there's a lot of, and Pluto's about to go retrograde, there's a lot of rethinking going on right now. And this aspect comes along and encourages us to see things in a whole new way. Find new solutions to old problems. Break out of some old patterns. As always, that's because the energy of Jupiter and Saturn are turning inward right now. So the change that you want to do is really going to have to be in agreement with this retrograde energy that we're going through for Jupiter and Saturn. And that's why I say it's about, encouraging, changing internally, a whole new way to find solutions to old problems, that kind of thing. As always, locate the house where this is occurring in your chart, and there you will need to do things differently today. Don't hold yourself back. Hesitation or relying on tradition could cause you to miss an opportunity. I wouldn't want you to do that. An opportunity for some enjoyable change in your life. And on a geopolitical level, it is a big day for the USA, as this aspect is going to exactly square the USA's Pluto. More about that at the end of the video. And then moving along to Wednesday afternoon, we do have a nice moon sextile Mercury. So mid-afternoon feelings and emotions work in unison. Very good communication skills at that point. Okay, moving along to Thursday, the 19th of April. We start in the morning with the moon square Neptune. Feeling a bit uncertain on Thursday morning. Aspect can make us ambivalent about the world. That means just basically confused and unclear, uncertain, not really sure what you want to do. We're forced to think on another level, and that's the whole idea with Neptune. You just want to be able to move into different levels with ease, and that helps. But we're easily deluded as the boundary between the different levels of being are blurred, and rational thought gives way to superstitions and idealism. Okay, and we've got the sun entering Taurus in the evening on Thursday. And of course, it'll be there for 1 month, as it is for each sign. Sun is cautious and persistent in Taurus. The vital energy of Aries gives way to a more steadfast, plodding, one day at a time quality that keeps us going with projects already started. Like Venus through Taurus, the sun gets 3 wonderful trines to Capricorn to give us a lot of encouragement for material enterprises. In the natal chart, the sun in the sign of Taurus or in the second house is an indicator of someone who owns their own business, someone who works for themselves. Again, it's all about expressing your personal values in the world and how they're such an important thing for you. Like I was talking about earlier with the Venus aspects. So too with the Sun entering Taurus. Um, this is a very good month for working on or expanding your personal business. Regardless of your situation, we are looking for opportunities for career advancement, and we are all focused more on our money and our personal possessions during this time, looking for ways to get the most out of them, the most pleasure. Taurus, like the bull, needs to feel grounded and in a serene environment. So nature hikes and just getting in touch with the sensual energy of the earth is a good idea during this time, especially over the next 4 days while the Venus is still in Taurus. Okay, moving along to Friday, April the 20th. We start early in the morning with Moon sextile Uranus. So we're feeling ambitious and a bit high strung so early in the morning because it's Moon in Gemini and that's kind of restless. And then the sextile to Uranus brings a bit more of that along. So you may need to calm your nerves. And then a short void, of course, begins. And still early in the morning, the Moon enters Cancer. So the Moon begins a new cycle in the sign of Cancer, with the sign it rules. So we're more sensitive and spend the next couple of days getting in touch with our own emotional needs. Maybe you want to spend more time at home and crawl into your shell. But these oppositions to Capricorn bring disruptions that could make us a bit rigid, give us some challenges. But not with this one, though, because we start out with the Moon sextile Sun. So that makes for a placid Friday morning, easygoing and creative time, and folks are in a good mood. And then on Friday in the afternoon, late afternoon, we've got the Moon square Mercury. So minds are restless and active, thoughts clouded by subconscious desires. And then late in the evening, Moon opposition Saturn. So late Saturday evening, we slow down and reconsider our responsibilities. Kind of put a damper on Friday night activities. Okay, moving along to Saturday, April the 21st. We start in the morning with the Moon trine Neptune. So we're passive and relaxed on Saturday morning, in tune with the subtle vibrations around us. And then in the afternoon on Saturday, we've got the Moon opposition Mars, another opposition to Capricorn. So the quiet solitude of the Moon in Cancer is kind of forcefully interrupted by duty and responsibility, or maybe some tradition. It kind of brings up volatile energy as well. Capricorn lives and dies by reputation. So your reputation and what other people think about you is really important these days with the Moon in Cancer. We're very sensitive, and these oppositions to Capricorn make us very worried about our reputation in the world. And it's another reason why we might kind of want to crawl into our shell. But luckily, we've got this Moon trine Jupiter to come along, help things out a little bit, alleviate some of that harsh energy. And this will be in the late afternoon. The emotions expand, got an optimistic attitude, and Jupiter brings a big appetite. So it helps us eat well, because again, these oppositions from Capricorn to the Moon in Cancer kind of takes away the appetite as well. It lowers the Agni, the digestive energy. So this Jupiter aspect kind of helps out on that. And then, once again, we're back to the oppositions to Capricorn with the Moon opposition Pluto. So this one is in the early evening. Insecurities arise. Folks are possessive and jealous. The placid mood in Cancer is once again forcefully interrupted, although it does bring a strong burst of energy as well as some sexual desire. Okay, moving along to Sunday, the 22nd, and that'll be Earth Day. And we start early in the morning with the pleasant Moon sextile Venus. So we're passive, pleasant, and in a relaxing disposition early Sunday morning. You may not want to get out of bed. I mean, you could really fall in love with your comforts with this one. You might just want to relax and sleep in. And then also in the morning, the moon square Uranus. Now this one could kind of get you a bit agitated and get you out of bed. Distractions interrupt the normal flow of work, cause emotional upset. We're more aware of what we're not getting. You want to use the ambitious energy to break out of stagnant patterns of behavior. And then avoid, of course, begins. And then Pluto goes retrograde. Oh, by the way, the void, of course, will continue until about mid-morning. But first, let's talk about this Pluto retrograde here. It will start retrograde at 21 degrees, 17 minutes of Capricorn, and then it'll continue down to 18 degrees, 45 minutes on September the 1st. So the death rebirth process now turns inward. Any self-destructive behaviors, that's Pluto, that you still cling to become more intense and more self-destructive when Pluto goes retrograde. Yet now you have the power to overcome those things like addictions and bad habits and purge them from your system. But the intensity is hard to work through, especially now with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto retrograde. So there's a lot of inward focus these days. And we're doing a lot of rethinking, making internal adjustments. And really, the rest of the world is making a lot of internal adjustments as well. So, you're with the rest of the crowd. It's just that with all of this energy turning inward, it can kind of feel like it's just you. But it's not. It's really the whole world. My best advice is to cleanse the body of impurities, eat properly, and get good rest, because all things Pluto are very important to get a grip on at this time. And that means rejuvenation, regeneration, fixing, repairing, all that kind of energy. You need that for the body now, because we really need to regenerate. So getting good rest and eating properly, all of those things are more important when Pluto goes retrograde. As well, the second pass of Pluto transits happen at the retrograde motion, as you can imagine. These can be the strongest expression of these transits, as powerful forces for transformation affect you internally, making this time a time of profound change on an inner level. So as always, check your chart. You might be a good idea to have your chart out as you're listening to these videos. It kind of helps track what's going on. You can note where all this is happening for you. And just note which house this retrograde Pluto is happening in. Inner work needs to be done to overcome your inability or resistance to change. Pluto can be very defiant and not want to change, very stubborn. And the Pluto retrograde energy causes us to come to grips with that defiant energy within us and help us overcome that resistance. Sometimes the blocks to change are so great that Pluto energy causes destructive energy to be unreleased in your life. But what I have found is that the mere acceptance and willingness to work with these energies, being conscious about it, not only prevents the destruction, but brings positive, lasting changes in your life. So just take extra good care of yourself during this time. And of course, see what transits are getting a second pass from Pluto. And then the moon enters Leo on Sunday, so we're more dramatic and in need of applause for the next couple of days. Time to attend to your hobbies and spend time with your children. And then we've got the first quarter moon on Sunday afternoon. So that'll be the moon square sun. This month, it'll be from Taurus to Leo. So this month, the challenge for establishing fulfillment for this month's projects or this month's growth or this month's work, however you want to say that, this is characterized by the square from Taurus to Leo, which is a challenge to have enough personal resources in order to finance your creative efforts. Well, how appropriate. I've been talking so much about your personal values, with these Venus aspects, as well as with the Sun going into Taurus. And now we get this square at the first quarter moon that says, do you have enough money to finance your creative efforts? So this square brings up money issues. Personal values, very important this week. Become very important now. Your values live and die depending on how you respond in this moment. Very important. It's kind of a critical moment each month at this first quarter moon where we really need to face that lesson in order to establish ourselves for this month's growth. So that's why it's kind of critical that you really express your personal values at this time. And that's really what's going to enable you to lay the foundation. It's critical that you respond in the affirmative when these moments come along. So when this aspect comes, note where you feel the need to spend money, and let that be a clue to where you're looking for growth this month. And then we've got the moon trine Mercury happening in the late Sunday evening. It's a good time for creative activities. The mind is sharp and very active on Sunday evening. Okay, so that's it for this week's aspects. Okay, so for interesting things this week, talking about the USA, on Wednesday the 18th, Sun conjunct Uranus. You'll see here it'll be at exactly 28 degrees, 30 minutes of Aries. Precisely squares the Pluto at 28 degrees, 30 minutes of Capricorn for the USA. So that's an interesting synchronicity that I thought I would point out. Now, Pluto rules the process of renewal and regeneration, the need to fix things and make them function again properly, and the need to get rid of the old and move on to something new. When a Uranus squares your natal Pluto comes along, that can be a real serious wake-up call to repair what is broken. Events can take a sudden turn as forces beyond your control compel you to make a change. So really the USA should be trying to fix its economic problems right now, looking for new ways, to solve old problems, Uranus. But it also brings up a lot of rebelliousness and defiance, a lot of the negative Pluto traits as well. And as of this moment, where the United States of America is looking to attack Syria, along with Britain and France, and they're saying it's ostensibly to punish Assad for chemical attacks, but really, our side is secretly carrying those out. And I'll leave links as to what's going on here, a map of the coming war, who is who, and why they're all doing this, 6 simple reasons why Trump is going to war, and Trump saying that attack could take place very soon. It's all about what's going on economically in the world, and the U.S. is trying to protect its economic interests because of the fall of the U.S. dollar. It's in the 8th house, so it really emphasizes there's a lot of issues about money going on. And the motivations for this war that the USA is thinking about going into in Syria, it's all about money. So at the Uranus square Pluto, we see the forces of change bearing down on the U.S. dollar. China and the other nations have found ways to circumvent the U.S. dollar for their international trade, and that has been concurrent with the Jupiter sextile Pluto. And it just so happens the second pass is happening this weekend, which has turned out to be another economic threat for the USA. So it's interesting that the USA now wants to go to war right at the time of this Jupiter sextile Pluto that we're going through, when other nations have obviously found ways to free themselves of the dollar clearly, and then this is the motivation, and then this comes along. It really makes the USA feel very threatened. And okay, so what happens is the USA faces, and what happens when the USA faces these threats? It decides to do a very Pluto thing, a very negative Pluto thing. It decides to go to war. So they're using the occasion of this Uranus transit to flex their military power in order to cover up the serious economic problems the USA faces internally. Okay, so what can we expect at the last pass of this transit? Well, the revolutionary spirit of radical change should be beating down upon us now. We really should be, knocking down the doors of the government, demanding change. The people, Uranus, the collective, should be in a crisis to force the powers who hold on to our collective values, the banks and so forth, to cut loose and give us the money and that kind of a thing. But instead, we're going to war. We could see the unsealing of the thousands of indictments against major players in politics. Now, that's something that we could look forward to. If you listen to the alternative news outlets, you get the feeling that we are on the verge of something really big in law enforcement, which is also ruled by Pluto. So this could be the unsealing of the indictments. I would really love to see that. Or we could just see another high-profile firing, like we've been seeing recently. One way or another, it looks to be a big week for the USA, especially around Wednesday. So that's all for this week. And in closing, I've been rather busy preparing for the Santa Rosa Mystic Fair. Once again, I'll leave a link for that. I've got, here's my exhibitor set up. Anyway, it changed it on me. Okay, so I'll leave a link for this. And I'll be there Saturday the 14th and Sunday the 15th. Please come by my booth if you can. I'd love to meet my YouTube viewers in the area. It'll be at the Veterans Building on Maple Avenue in Santa Rosa. And I've also been working on my new website, and it's been taking a lot of time. It's coming along really well, and it will be up and running within the next 2 weeks. And once again, this month, there's a drawing to receive a natal reading. Everyone who donates in any given month to this effort is automatically entered into the drawing for that month. So please donate to this effort if you haven't already, and thanks to those who have already donated. You'll find donation buttons for Patreon and PayPal in the lower right-hand corner of the flower image on my channel homepage, and you can follow me on Twitter, TomJordan364, and please contact me if you're interested in a natal or transit reading. I'm also available for consultations on a regular monthly basis, using astrology as a tool for life coaching. And in addition, I am a Reiki master, and if you're interested in the long-distance Reiki healing or a psychic reading, which I do as well, please contact me at mobilestar7@yahoo.com or my weblog at tomsocalm.com, which is where I post the transcript of these weekly videos. Okay, so the image this week is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, where he states, "Your values become your destiny." It seems really appropriate, especially this week with the aspects that we're getting, especially those Venus aspects early in the week. So that's all this week for Weekly Astrology Notes. Once again, thanks for viewing, liking, and sharing my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Many blessings, and have a great day.